A reading from the Gospel of Mark. Jesus returned from the region of Tyre and went by way of Sidon towards the Sea of Galilee in the region of the Decapolis. They brought to him a deaf man who had an impediment in his speech, and they begged him to lay his hand on him. He took him aside in private away from the crowd and put his fingers into his ears, and he spat and touched his tongue. Then looking up to heaven, he sighed and said to him, "Ephphatha," that is, "be opened." And immediately his ears were opened, his tongue was released, and he spoke plainly. Then Jesus ordered them to tell no one, but the more he ordered them, the more zealously they proclaimed it. They were astounded beyond measure, saying, "He has done everything well. He even makes the deaf to hear and the mute to speak." Jesus is clearly on a roll, getting all the more popular, all the more acclaimed for these extraordinary miracles. And that was an unusual one. We don't normally get quite so much detail about the process of the healing there. Jesus is very physically involved, using saliva and touching ears and tongue. And he's doing this in Gentile country. It's a very remarkable set of events. And clearly for the crowd and for Mark's readers, it recalls part of a great prophecy in Isaiah about what the Messiah will do. This is big, exciting stuff, and people take notice of it. And right in the middle of it, Jesus sighed and said, "Ephphatha," be opened. And sometimes I cannot help but wonder if Jesus looks at the church and says to us, "Be opened." Who was it that needed to be opened in that story? Well, clearly the man who is deaf and mute needs restoration of his full abilities, his full senses, and Jesus does that for him. And the crowd, they are opened to see how well God does these wonderful things. And despite instructions to the contrary, and we could speculate for hours and hours about why these instructions are given. They're a fairly constant part of Mark's theme. But whatever the reason, people are speaking well of Jesus. They are hearing, and then they are speaking. This miracle involves being able to hear again, and thus to be able to speak again. We are called to be the voice of the body of Christ. That's the mission of the church. It means we are called to be able to hear what God is saying to us, and we are called to be able to relate the wonderful things that God has done, is doing, and will continue to do. We are called to share those to the world. As we hear Jesus do this extraordinary thing and look up to heaven and pray, "Be opened," let's make sure that if we need to be opened, we hear Jesus' prayer and we allow it to impact on our lives so that we may hear God's word and that we may share the wonders that God has and will continue to do in our midst. Amen.